Oh, so you're a Suda 51 fan. Name 3 of his games.
Easy, No More Heroes 1, No More Heroes 2, No More Heroes 3.
Oh my God!
How about getting rid of the 10 killers above you and aim for the top?
There's something about Japanese game designers and their unique vision. The level of self-awareness and irony is beyond anything that most Western developers would even dare to try. And among these crazy legends stands a man so out of this world that I could make a separate video just talking about him and his origin story. Goichi Suda, simply known as Suda51, is the man behind many cult classics, and today I wanted to talk about a series that could arguably be the pinnacle of his art, No More Heroes.
Let the bloodshed begin!
Originally released on the Nintendo Wii in 2007, No More Heroes burst onto the gaming scene and took its place among the crazy over-the-top self-aware video games that aren't perfect, but have a ton of personality.
The gig? Assassinate the Drifter.
It's a story of an otaku assassin named Travis Touchdown who won an electric katana on an online auction, killed some random nobody who just so happened to be the top 11 assassins in the United Assassins Association, which got Travis into a contest to determine who is the best.
Aggressive and packing heat. Bada bing. Or at least it was supposed to be.
It helps that the operation is run by an incredibly hot woman named Sylvia, who promises to have sex with Travis if he reaches the #1 spot. So basically we're told a tale of a valorous nerd who will take part in a life-threatening competition just to get laid. He's foul-mouthed, lives on the brink of poverty in the No More Heroes motel room, decorated with video games, anime and wrestling trinkets. Oh, and he's incredibly horny.
Titled Big German Jugs Collection number 23. Be sure to return it.
You're poor!
Have a nice day.
You're fucking poor!
So basically your average 4chan or Reddit user but with actual fighting skills. Participating in the top 10 ranking battle is not as simple as it seems, as this competition implies that you're basically always walking with a target on your back, as other participants will do their damnedest to take you out and move up through the ranks.
You gotta be shitting me!
Throughout the adventure we'll face a diverse cast of enemies placed on the top 10 assassins list. Pretty much the whole game is like the original Need for Speed Most Wanted, but with over-the-top characters walking the fine line between incredibly skilled masters of their craft and complete psychos.
Game set!
True to the parody nature of the game, Travis faces many interesting people, some of which would never pass for a human being, let alone an assassin. Here are just some of the characters you'll meet. An Afro Samurai ripoff.
Holy! What the hell was that?
A fake
Likewise.
superhero who's actually the biggest dick in the world.
Destroy Spark.
A Russian magician named Harvey Moiseyevich Volodarsky. I think the name speaks for itself.
It's killing time!
An old lady with a literal Death Star cannon on wheels.
It's complete. That's right. Don't you see? Idiots. All men are.
And many more. How do you face them? It's very simple yet bizarre. Each rank battle requires a certain entry fee that must be deposited in an ATM, like you top up a debit card. Sounds pretty sound so far, right? Well, there's a catch. Travis is fucking broke, which is why he has to do part-time jobs in order to earn enough money to progress the story. No More Heroes never misses an opportunity to make fun of conventional pop culture tropes and purposely puts Travis in the most awkward situations that normally would have no place in a game about a skilled assassin going through the ranks of his organization. I mean, what kind of an assassin mows lawns or refills cars with petrol or picks up rubbish with special snippers? And it's not like the entry fees are pocket change, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars, which have to be grinded by doing the aforementioned part-time jobs or small assassination gigs. So for me the gameplay loop looks something like this. About an hour of grinding cash in exchange for roughly 20 minutes of story-related content.
For you.
In retrospect, I'd say it's a good thing, as the combat and level design in general are definitely not the strongest parts of this game.
One eternity later.
Sweet.
Sure, there are lots of neat mechanics and sick moves to pull off with the high-low attacks, stuns and suplexes, as well as special finishing blows that trigger a slot machine mode, making Travis invincible, able to shoot projectiles at enemies, or just slice everyone with one hit. However, the gameplay can feel slow and stiff, making it very apparent that it was designed with the original Nintendo Wii controls in mind. I'm not a fan of the gimmicky motion controls, so I opted to use the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, which got the job done, but I can't wholeheartedly say that I've had a particularly good time. What did give me a good time were the endless gags and over-the-top action sequences that happened throughout my 10-hour playthrough. I can't remember when was the last time that I was at loss for words due to the batshit insane stuff I witnessed. I think I can make a separate video with just the funny phrases and bizarre dialogues that the characters act out. It also helps that everyone is somewhat aware that they're in a video game and constantly try to break the fourth wall. No More Heroes has got to be one of the most bizarre video games that I've had the pleasure of experiencing. On surface level, it's a very average game with limited repetitive gameplay and a story that realistically can be completed in half of its actual runtime. And I wouldn't call it a particularly good looking game either. You can easily tell that it was made so that the weak Nintendo Wii hardware could handle all the action without significant performance dips. Though I have to say that the developers made up for the poor graphics with an interesting art style reminiscent of Suda 51's previous works, especially Killer 7. However, with all the quirks, shits and giggles, No More Heroes redeems itself and actually makes you want to continue playing it, even if it's only to see what other insane plot twist Suda-san has up his sleeve. It's a true work of art made for those who can appreciate the weird and quirky. No More Heroes is what I would call an anti-game that never takes itself too seriously, and sometimes that's exactly what you need to have a good time.
I want you to see me for who I really am.
Serious? Damn.
The ending kinda sucked regardless of which one you choose, but that depends on your preference. I was confused as fuck when the final credits rolled, but in a surprisingly good way. My hope was that the ending would at least be explained in the second game.
And now for something completely different.
Okay, fuck it. I lied. It's
the same fucking thing but way more streamlined.
Before you start your desperate struggling, you should drop a nice save.
No More Heroes 2 Desperate Struggle is almost a one-to-one recreation of the original game that cut down the fat and focused on the infamous ranking battles rather than the mundane fetch quests and side jobs. For some it's a major turn-off and a reason to hate the sequel as it's lost a part of its identity and one of the ridiculous factors that made the original so cunning and bizarre. As for me, I can't thank the developers enough for not forcing me to grind the cash in order to progress the story. And if you're wondering, no, neither the ending nor the events between the two games were explained, and to add insult to the injury, even some of the cast members, Sylvia to be specific, give us a figurative "fuck you, I don't have time for this shit."
Starting from the sequel who don't care about continuity, you know.
Don't you just love it when the writers respect the player and actually think about continuity? Yeah? Well, fuck us all then, because this game doesn't care about plot consistency and giving a proper background.
I guess you got a point there.
Speaking of which, like I said earlier, No More Heroes 2 repeats the story of the original, putting Travis up against new opponents with a unique premise to each of them. Though this time, due to the growing popularity of the ranking battles held by the United Assassins Association, we now have to dispose of 50 contestants in order to climb the ladder and retain the crown as the best assassin in town.
Again, it's like poetry, so if they rhyme, every stanza kind of rhymes with the last one.
You gotta be kidding!
It's been 3 years since the events of No More Heroes, and Travis Touchdown, the Otaku assassin and former #1 on the blacklist, returns to Santa Destroy and gets involved in the new battle to the death conducted by none other than the same woman who set him up last time. And once again, due to being extremely horny, Travis takes part in the ranking battles. I mean, a 5-meal course with a downward dog position as the main dish does sound appetizing considering how hot the chef is. Well, and the fact that his best friend got brutally murdered also affected Travis' decision to participate.
We're just here to collect.
Travis.
Even though some of the features that made the first No More Heroes unique were put on the sideline and now serve more as a distraction to the main story, Desperate Struggle retained that incredible level of self-irony and a badass attitude, making it as, if not more, enjoyable than its predecessor. We still get funky one-liners, cutscenes that go from philosophical discussions about meaning of life to what the fuck did I just witness, please continue. It's all here, just more precise and crazier at times when it matters. The gameplay got its fair share of improvements too, with sleeker combat, way more responsive controls, and other quality of life improvements. I genuinely had fun cutting through waves of goons, even though sometimes these filler battles before the boss fight felt like they would never end. Take this parking lot fight for example. I swear to god, I must have spent 20 minutes trying to get inside this fucking shopping mall. The trick is that you have to kill every single enemy before passing to the next part of the level. And this game clearly decided to take a piss and just kept bombarding me with enemies who arrived in cars, trucks, and vans for kidnappers. I'm not even kidding, just look at this. If something like this happened in the first game, I would have probably called it quits and went on to do something more meaningful with my life, like spitting on the ceiling in order to see which spit sticks and which one would land back on my face, or grind Tartarus in Persona 3 Remake for the 100th time. You know, the kind of shit that only true people with zero social life would do. But No More Heroes is different, and the combat is so much more enjoyable, with power-ups that go from now I can move in hyperspeed and slice up enemies to I'm a fucking tiger, time to die. Therefore, here I am, writing a review having completed half of my journey through the wacky world made by Suda 51. Visually and sound-wise, the game also received a major update when compared to the original. Gone are the terrible volume spikes that teared through my eardrums and probably gave my neighbors nightmares. Gone is the repetitive main theme that is now receiving many different versions, making the soundtrack more varied and memorable, though I was happy to hear the original tune play during my rush to the final boss. The graphics are sharper and more on par with something like Killer is Dead rather than Killer 7. I know it's a preference thing, and I've actually had a discussion with someone who saw both of the games, but I like the style of Desperate Struggle more. My only nitpick is how money is handled in No More Heroes. And I know that I've bitched about the grind just a few minutes ago, but making money completely obsolete is kind of a shame, as there was no real incentive to try different side jobs that are actually pretty cool this time, other than to see what they look like and to buy some upgrades that are unnecessary for beating the game. It's just a shame that some people put time and effort into these things, but they ultimately were left forgotten during my playthrough. And I know that it's my problem for not using them, but I'm a busy man and I don't want to spend my time on something unless it's either 100% necessary or so fun that I can't help myself and get involved. All of these things made the game short but sweet. No More Heroes 2 clocked at around 6 hours for me, and I consider this a good thing, because if I want to do tedious repetitive work chores or find another part-time gig, I can always do it in real life and forget about gaming altogether. Looks like midlife crisis is going to hit me sooner than puberty hits a teenager. Anyway, here's a clip of Bobs and Vagana taken directly from the game. And yes, that's how some parts of the story are actually delivered.
I feel like that pervy teacher in a porn.
Still thinking if you should be playing this game?
What are you, fucking gay?
Moving on to the final game in the No More Heroes franchise to date.
Glory to the Soviet Union.
Psych!
A quick stop to talk about Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes, a game that serves as a bridge between the second and the third titles. Having now played all of the No More Heroes games, particularly the third installment, I've come to realize how important Travis Strikes Again is. If you haven't played Travis Strikes Again prior to booting up No More Heroes 3, you would have a hard time understanding what's going on at the beginning. Come to think of it, you'll have a hard time figuring out what's going on regardless, but let's not jump too ahead of things and focus on the previous game for now. For me, Travis Strikes Again was the first exposure to the No More Heroes games, and boy was I excited to play it. Also, I remember being a bit short on money at the time, so this was a true Travis touchdown experience, as in this game he lives in a trailer with his cat in the middle of nowhere. This game sits nicely between being a spin-off and a full-on sequel, and I honestly cannot tell what exactly Travis Strikes Again No More Heroes is. All I can say is that it's unique and plays quite differently when compared to the 3 numbered entries. It's definitely more of a co-op oriented game that allows 2 players to take control of Travis Touchdown and the father of Batgirl, a battle assassin who was ranked number 2 in the original game. Travis, staying true to his otaku origins along with Mr. Badman, gets sucked into a one-of-a-kind console gaming console, Death Drive Mark II, that can grant wishes to anyone who completes its entire library consisting of 6 games. The trick is that upon inserting the death ball ROM with the game into the console, the game sucked the players in and killed them, which is why it never made it to the shelves. That's quite surprising, right? Batman wants to bring his deceased psychotic daughter back to life, while Travis just wishes to clear out the bugs in the game so that they don't interrupt the gameplay. As usual, Travis is a true knight in shining armor. Basically, Travis Strikes Again is about completing each of these games that serve as individual levels with different gimmicks, conditions and references to existing media. For example, Travis is rocking something that closely resembles a Nintendo Power Glove. There are lots of small callbacks to previous Grasshopper manufactured titles. This is actually how I learned about one very interesting game called Shadows of the Damned. So not only was Travis Strikes Again my introduction to the No More Heroes games, but also to the entire catalog of Suda 51. At this point, my only regret is that I didn't play the rest of the No More Heroes games earlier.
Trying to butter up the gamers!
I could of course tell you more about the individual levels and the story, but this is really the case when you have to play it for yourself in order to understand what the game is like. And also, I'm a lazy bastard and I'm literally writing this part of the review based on my memories of playing Travis Strikes Again 5 years ago.
So this is where it's been hiding.
This is what happens when someone as crazy and creative as Suda 51 gets a bigger budget to realize his vision of the final chapter to this insane rollercoaster.
Superheroes are popular in this country, so we're gonna jump on that.
From the first minutes, it's clear that the money was definitely invested into this game, even though Suda himself said in an interview that it's not the biggest budget that his team got to work with. The picture quality, the polish, the attention to detail is leagues ahead of the previous games, which makes sense as the mainline installments are more than a decade apart from each other, so it would be weird if the latest entry looked like a Nintendo Wii port. Sure, none of the things you will see in No More Heroes 3 could even remotely be called groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination, but this franchise was never about cutting-edge graphics or particularly engaging gameplay.
Okay, now go out and earn the entry fee for the next battle.
Speaking of which, it's the exact same fucking thing that was in the original No More Heroes. 10 bosses with certain money and mandatory battle requirements to face them.
Where'd they even come from?
Sorry, I'm sort of in a hurry.
On surface level, No More Heroes 3 is a carbon copy of the first installment that not only forces us to grind cash in order to progress the story, but also makes this process even more tedious by turning basic enemies into literal damage sponges, where it seemed that no matter how much I upgraded Travis's kills, they were the same pain in the ass as in the beginning of the game. And it's not like the upgrade system is pointless and doesn't affect the gameplay. Apart from the expected health and damage output, there is an option to create chips for the Death Glove, the Nintendo Power Glove ripoff, that add a little more flexibility to the loadout and some variety to the combat, albeit very insignificant. Now, the overall aesthetic and, surprisingly enough, the main story is where No More Heroes 3 really shines like a crazy diamond. Here is a totally accurate recreation of how it went.
Trip on Death Road.
Suda gets money, Suda makes a game that he wants, Suda releases that said game. Somehow it works.
Yeah!
Because it honestly felt like Suda-san thought of the things that he personally liked, made an entire game around them, and then miraculously this whole contraption turned into the pinnacle of the No More Heroes franchise, combining everything that made the series so memorable, and turned it into one rainbow-colored super beam.
So easy!
I guess I should say a few things about the story. It's a classic aliens invade Earth situation with a team of 10 psychos led by none other than Jean-Baptiste VI, simply known as Fu. I wonder if the name stands for, well, of course it does. Of course it does. Yeah. Though these aliens chose the wrong universe to invade, as the legendary Otaku assassin was having a good time at the No More Heroes motel in his underwear. Obviously, the fact that his hometown is being torn down and invaded pisses him off, so Travis once again gears up and prepares himself and the player for another round of kill 10 bosses and get the girl. That's it, go and experience the game for yourself, as no words can describe the utter madness that unfolds.
The Garden of Insanity is awaiting your return.
You either have to be a mad genius or under the influence in order to conceive everything that happens in this game. The guys at Grasshopper went all out and created the ultimate mix of shitty jokes, references to pop culture icons, tons of self-irony, and countless instances of breaking the fourth wall. No, scratch that. The fourth wall was completely demolished in this game. You'll have to call Mr. Trump in order to rebuild it.
Stand champion.
The character personalities are way more defined, the boss fights are unique and memorable. In terms of writing, No More Heroes 3 is not just in a different ballpark, I'd say it's in a completely different sport when compared to its predecessors.
I'll take your head first.
Perhaps it doesn't have the same level of deep, multi-layered irony that might or might not be present in the older titles, but I was just happy to see that there are still games that offer something different, and developers who are not afraid to think outside the box, and make games that they would actually want to play, rather than trying to cater to a non-existent audience.
Keep on crying as you die. You really turned out fucked up, you know that? The fuck is all this dark side bullshit?
Every boss has a distinct style and personality as you would expect in a No More Heroes game. Though I gotta say most of them are more style over substance, and their introductions on average take more time than the actual battles with them. But man, those intros though, this has to be the weirdest, most hilarious shit that I've seen in quite a long time. And believe me, I've seen my fair of ridiculous weird shit. I've had so many instances during my playthrough where the only thing that I could say was, what the fuck just happened? Show me more.
What the hell is this?
Looks like Las Vegas.
You know, I actually kinda like this stuff.
No More Heroes 3 is the game that doesn't reinvent itself for the entire series, but does make the additions that I feel Suda-san wanted to make before, but was limited for one reason or another.
Get some!
The number of references, homages, and endless stabs at conventional video game tropes is staggering. I honestly lost count of all the things Suda touched upon in No More Heroes 3. From niche Japanese movies with the director of these movies making an actual cameo, to entire video game genres with specific titles like Final Fantasy and Smash Bros. It's amazing how much was fitted into a single 12-hour game. This alone is a reason to at least give this title a try if you ask me. Many developers like to gush about how realistic and lifelike the characters in their games are. You actually feel and understand this person, it's like you're really there. Horseshit. I've played the entirety of the No More Heroes games and now I know what a well-written character actually looks like. Yes, it's this asshole nerd living in a shithole spending as much time flogging his log as practicing his swordplay. And hear me out. When talking about well-written characters, we usually focus on their complexity, how flawed they are, or on the contrary, how defined their traits are. What makes Travis Touchdown great is how close he actually is to an adult otaku. He is the epitome of grow the fuck up already, that weird friend who would live in his childhood home basement if it didn't burn down 20 years ago. It's the kind of guy you probably made fun of in high school, or perhaps you were that guy back in the day.
And that's a wrap.
But it's not just the likeness and the accuracy of an average American otaku.
That's okay. I seem to have a thing for stupid, pathetic men like you.
It's watching him mature and actually realize the value of things like life and family, becoming more responsible, caring and respectful, while still retaining the nerdiness that many of us fellow gamers have, even though we live a regular life, have regular jobs and relationships.
People shed blood and die. This isn't a game. You can't just selfishly use death as your tool.
Travis Touchdown is the ultimate manifestation of how many of us saw themselves back when we were young and our imagination was running wild.
Damn!
Fuck your Ryan Goslings and Patrick Batemans. If you're looking for a true, literally me character, then there he is. Probably jacking off to some weird Japanese adult flick. That went well. I definitely managed to get my point across exactly how I wanted. Yeah, as Eminem once said in his famous song, I guess there's a Travis Touchdown in all of us.
Yeah, what is it, Mr. Cosplay?
The No More Heroes franchise is a massive fuck you to traditional gaming conventions, sterile corporate rules with soulless titles fine-tuned to cater to an average player. It's a true punk story of an anti-hero in an anti-video game going against the trends, making constant references and breaking the fourth wall.
Now that's paradise.
Sure, it's a hard sell in terms of the gameplay and the general story, but where the game lacks in conventional video game aspects, it more than makes up in places you would least expect. And I wish nothing but success to developers who aren't afraid to make something different from what the industry offers.
Oh, snippity snap!
And what do you think of the No More Heroes games? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my content, please be sure to like and subscribe. Take care, and remember, only play games that are worth your time. See you next time. Bye.
Finally, here she is. Sylvia. I was looking for you.
My eyes. Can I open my eyes?
Yeah, it's real. Let's go home. Santa Destroy needs us.